Conversation. Eric, great to see you this afternoon. Senate Republicans narrowly passing this domestic agenda bill. Not all united, though. Talk to us about how this played out in the Senate.
Yeah, this was not only a marathon session, but this was a Herculean effort by the Senate Majority Leader to get all of the Republicans that they needed in order to pass this legislation. And the one lone holdout was Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski. Now, they had already had a deal with her to support the legislation, but the parliamentarian came back and said that those carve-outs that were actually included to basically exempt all of Alaska from these Medicaid cuts was not able to pass muster. So they had to go back, rework some language in the legislation to keep her on board. That's what they were able to do. Nevertheless, they still lost 3 Republican senators, which is why they needed Vice President J.D. Vance to actually get this bill over the finish line. Now it goes back to the House for reconciliation, where, of course, that's going to take some work. And it's going to be very difficult to see if the House will actually pass this by President Trump's imposed 4th of July date.
There is, of course, a very razor-thin majority that they have in the House. So talk to us about the challenges and those who are naysayers in the bill from the onset.
Yeah, well, there are a number of Republicans who are concerned about what the bill does in terms of how it's going to raise the debt. In fact, already we know the Independent Congressional Budget Office says that this bill could add nearly $4 trillion in additional debt to the economy. In addition to that, we know that there's a $5 trillion debt ceiling limit, which will raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, making it basically easy for the president to be able to get this bill through without having to worry about debt ceiling increases anymore, at least throughout his presidential term. But again, there are a number of lawmakers who will not support this legislation. And now, again, we've already seen how the president has gone after some Republicans who did not support the legislation, namely Republican Senator from North Carolina, Tom Tillis, who we now know just announced that he is retiring, will not be running for re-election. Democrats are looking at that as a potential pickup next year. And also, too, we have to remember, this bill could go very much the way of the Obamacare legislation that President Obama got passed in his first term in office, and where Democrats, because of that legislation passing, while it was enormously popular with Democrats, it actually turned out to be a bloodbath for many of those House and Senate Republicans as they lost both chambers in the midterm elections. This legislation, if in fact it gets to the president's desk for signature, could actually be the same type of legislation, a poison pill for Republicans next year when they start looking at their ability to be able to keep both the House and the Senate.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out during the midterms as well. But we leave it at that for the moment. CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham, thank you for your views, Eric.
Okay, thank you.